Hello friends. Today's video is about cleaning when you're sick or decluttering when you're sick. So first of all, when you're sick, you have diarrhea or you have a fever or you have a migraine headache, or in some way you're incapacitated. You are unable to do very much at all, barely take care of yourself. When you're that sick, you're not expected to home make. Somebody needs to be taking care of you, okay? But there are times when we call ourselves sick when we're not really sick. If you look at it, you just don't feel well. So maybe that day you just don't feel well. And I'm not talking about like you have COVID and you just don't feel well and you can't move because you're so exhausted. That's sick. But I'm talking about you have a little bit of cramps, not horrible cramps where you need to go to the hospital cramps. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. You just have some cramps, you feel uncomfortable, you're not happy, or you have a headache. It's just annoying. It's a headache. You can take some medicine for it, but it's not a migraine. Or you have some other little thing, you're achy or whatever, but you're not like somebody doesn't need to take care of you. In that case, you can home make, you can clean and declutter your home. And you're going to compare that to when you go to work. If any of you work out there or have worked outside the home before, you know you can't call in every time you have a headache or cramps. You go to work like that and you do your work. You might not be the peppiest you've ever been, but you might discover once you get there and things start happening and you have your coffee and you've taken some medicine that you can actually function quite well. In fact, you feel really well by the end of the day. Well, that's the way it is when you can home make. You can clean and declutter like that. So how do you clean and declutter when you don't feel well, but you're not sick? You get up and you make your bed. You just do it just like you would normally. You make your bed, you put on your clothes, you wash your face, you put on your moisturizer, you put on your makeup, you fix your hair, you switch the toilet, you wipe out the sink. Maybe you've just got a little cold, something that makes you not feel well. And you go about your day. If you are sick, really sick, then you stay in bed and drink plenty of fluids. You don't clean. Now, let's say that you don't have a choice. Your husband has to leave the home and work. There's no one in the city but you and your husband that can take care of you. You haven't developed any friendships yet, and it's just you and 3 little kids, or just you and whatever. And you have to do something, even though you can barely function. In that case, all you're going to do is drag your little body out of bed. You don't have to make your bed. You do have to wash your face and brush your teeth. You're going to feel better. I would suggest you put on a robe and some slippers. You don't have to get dressed. Go into the kitchen and you make food for your babies. And then you lay on the couch and you watch your babies play. And if you don't feel well enough to pick up their toys after a couple of hours and they can't pick them up yet, then that's just a fact. You're going to have to give yourself some grace. And you're going to struggle through this day and make sure you feed yourself, and you make sure that you're taking a nap when your baby takes a nap, and you're basically just going to lay around. And you're not making a mess, just the babies are making a mess. And if they're 4 years old or older, you can instruct them to put things away by saying, baby, pick up your trucks and put them in the container. You can play with them again later, but just put them in the laundry basket or whatever you have for their toys. Baby, would you go get mommy a Kleenex? You can do that. All right? And that's how you do it when you're sick. But when you just don't feel well, you've got a little cold, a little sniffle, you have a little achy, you have a little, headache, you have a little bit of cramps, you can totally do your whole thing and you're probably going to feel better for doing it. Okay? Make sure if you have a cold, you're getting some hot tea, you're doing some things for yourself that you know are good, but you have to still do your work. Okay, I know that's not the answer you want to hear. And then there are some of you who have immune deficiency issues where you have flares. And that's the same thing. You just have to measure your level. How sick am I with this flare? Am I immobile? Does somebody need to take care of me? That I'm too sick to home make? Even though somebody isn't taking care of you, does somebody need to take care of you? Like I said, sometimes you're in a situation where no one can take care of you. But I do want to say to all of you, if you're ever that sick, if you have a neighbor that you know even a little bit and you know she's home, you can call her and say, hey, I'm really sick today. I would just like you to know that I'm sick. You don't have to come over and take care of me, but if you could just pop in this afternoon and make sure my kids are okay, because I'm laying on the couch and I just feel really badly. Your neighbor will want to take care of you, I promise. If you have a girlfriend, call her and tell her the same thing. If your mom's in town, even if you and your mom don't get along, you might want to have some help. Now, sometimes it might make you sicker, certain personalities you don't need around you. I'm praying that you have a good relationship with your family and that you could have somebody come. But if not, a friend, somebody needs to know that you're there by yourself or there with little children by yourself. Your husband, if you have a husband and he's gone to work, he should be calling you and checking on you. So you might have to tell him to call you and check on you. Call me and check on me. Or call him and say, hey, this is how I feel right now. Can you come home? I can't do this. Or whatever it is. You have to advocate for yourself. No one else will. And I promise you, if your neighbor called you and said, hey, Kat, I know that, we haven't met and I'm a new neighbor, but I just want you to know that I'm really sick today and I've got 3 little children. And if you could just come and check on us at noon and make sure that I'm okay, I would sure appreciate that. I would go over and I'd say, absolutely. Can I get something for you? Can I give you let me make you some soup? I would help that person because it's our nature as good people to take care of each other. And there are good people out there. We hear all about the bad people, but there's loads of good people out there. So reach out and ask for help if you need it. All right. So remember, if you just have a little headache, you just have a little cough, you just have a little ache, not a fever, but something that you don't feel well, you have some cramps. And I used to have horrible cramps. Dysmenorrhea, is that what it's called? And I know what that's like to be doubled over, but I still had to do what I had to do because I couldn't miss work every single month. So I took my medicine and I tried to get my walk and do the things that I knew would make me feel better. Heating pad at work, I would do that. So you might have to do that at home sometimes. And that's okay. You can do this. It won't be your strongest day, but you can do this. And you know what? Tomorrow you've already started your groundwork. So tomorrow when you feel better, you're going to do better. And you're going to give yourself grace for not doing it perfectly always. We never ever do it perfectly. We just do the best we can on that day. And if that's the best you can do, then tomorrow you're not going to berate yourself for doing it that way because it was the best you could do. Okay? All right, that's it for today. Have a wonderful day. I hope you feel really well and appreciate your good health. And always remember that you are beautiful. So be beautiful.